Willie, thanks very much for your time. Are you going to have your key half combination back of May and Lewis this week?
I hope so. We'll know more later on the week. Obviously, they've got to get through some fitness testing, and we'll see where they are later on the week.
What would you say the percentages of them playing? Are you confident?
I'd like to think so. You never know, mate, because as I say, they've got to get through certain criteria. But I'm hopeful that they'll be okay.
Regarding Rhyse Martin, you cited a hip injury after the Salford victory. What's the latest on him?
Yeah, not good news at all for Rhyse and for us. So Rhyse will be out for 4 months with it. Yeah, he needs to have an operation on his hip, on his quad.
Hip and quad?
Quad. Yeah. It's a in the tendon, so it's a nasty. Yeah, it's a tear, which requires surgery.
I assume he did that as he was striking the ball.
Yeah, he did. So goal kicking and then felt it the second time. So he told me after the game that he felt a pop. It's never a good sign if you feel that. And then he felt it again when he came. He ran the ball basically, and then we got him off. And then obviously been for scans and I've seen the specialist and he's got an operation on Saturday. So not good news for Rhyse because he was fit into the squad well. He's obviously a key player for us, but we know 4 months' time we'll be getting a guy that's ready to go again. But the most important thing for now for Rhyse is that he has his operation and recovers well, and spends some time with his family and just, as I say, just recovers and takes it easy for a while. It's not a good thing for him to go through, but it's rugby league, unfortunately.
How were you feeling about it? Because we've mentioned depth before, but what's your initial reaction to one of your newer recruits having such a long-term injury?
Oh, you never want to see any player get injured. It's the unfortunate part of the game, especially when they're out for long periods of time. It's what they love doing, and when that's taken away from them, obviously affects everybody, but obviously affects the individual the most. Look, I don't talk about injuries often, excuse me, because I know they're going to happen, so I don't give it energy. But naturally, with an injury like this, it's we need to be around Rhyse and make sure that he's okay, which he will be. He's got some good support, his family and from the club.
How difficult a decision do you have then with who takes the kicks then on Friday night? Is it an easy solution? Because we've talked about Mikey Lewis obviously possibly being back, and then I suppose you have got depth, haven't you? The Richardson, for example.
Yeah, it just depends on who plays in the halves. So obviously Danny Richardson, he proved that he's a great goal kicker. It'll just depend on who plays, and then we'll sort of look at that, as I said, later in the week, and then make a decision.
How's your skipper doing? How's Minnie getting on at this point with his hamstring?
Yeah, he's good. So Minnie will be fine. So he'll be playing. Got through training, and has recovered well from the game. So it was just a bit of tightness, but he'll be ready to go.
And also, you mentioned Joe Burgess having to soldier on in the second half. Is he all okay? What's he actually done? Yeah,
so he's had a bit of fluid there, which towards his knee, but he's okay. Again, he trained today, and he'll be fine for the game.
We'll come to Vegas in a moment. I just want to talk about Jez Litten first, if possible, because he's been making great strides when he's come off the bench. And that sort of area, hooker area, do you feel like you've got a nice blend with having Mickey McAlorum as almost like a tutor, if you like, but then there's other players around him like Bill Leyland and others who are also still learning on their feet. And Jez is now really starting to see, I guess, his full potential, or has he got more potential in him? Yeah,
look, I think there's still more in Jez. There's no doubt about that. Jez and I, we've got a good relationship. We have good, honest conversations. We had those over, the off season. I sort of said what I was looking for. Jez had, some good feedback for myself as well. And as I said, it's a good, honest, close relationship where we can let each other know what we're thinking. So we had those conversations, and it's only early rounds, but I'm certainly seeing Jez Litten, the player that I know he can be. The key now is that he just keeps evolving his game and developing over the course of the season. It's just consistency. Because you look at Jez's game, he is a complete hooker. He can do everything. He's a good defender. He's a strong defender. He can run from dummy half. He's got great skill, his pass, his skill execution. He's got great game management. He kicks from 9. So there's not an area that I go that he's not strong at, where a lot of other hookers would. Some are running hookers and they're not game managers, or they can't manipulate a defence, or they can't kick. Jez has got everything to his game. So the key now for Jez is just being consistent with that, and I think he's at the prime of his career now. He's going into his, he's just had his 27th birthday, so he's not young anymore, but he's certainly going to be a player that probably developed later and will definitely play into his mid-30s. There's no doubt about that, because his best is ahead of him. So the key now is just being consistent with it. He's in our leadership group, so he plays an important role in that area. I've seen a lot of growth in him. There's a lot of upside to Jez, so I certainly don't think we've seen the best of him, but I'm certainly really happy with how he started the season.
I noticed Jai speaking after the game and getting one of his first brace, if not his first brace, as a rugby league player. And he cited Jez in particular for just how he actually plays the game as a hooker, and was very, very appraising of just how beneficial he is to him, even if he is coming off the bench.
Yeah, look, he's playing majority of minutes. Mickey Mack's doing a good job for us that first 25. I wasn't sure how it was going to look. I had an idea, which has probably worked out the way I thought. Start Mickey, and then Jez will play majority and just speed the game up a little bit and get some more run out of 9 once there's a bit of fatigue, in the opposition, and that ruck speeds up, which is happening at the moment. So there's a good blend there between the two. But Jez certainly added another dimension, in terms of our attack coming off the bench on the weekend, and then Jai was the one that got the rewards from it, obviously doing his thing by pushing into space, and a little set play there they had in the second half as well. So, there's some good combinations, and that's what I want to see. I want to see us, further develop those combinations. We've got a framework of how we like to attack, but I certainly want to see those little combinations and sort of the short game, those little short game moments develop.
Just lastly on Jez, having someone of his calibre and I guess the electricity that he provides, have you got the perfect blend with Mikey and with Mickey and Jez? Do they complement each other perfectly for you?
Yeah, I think they do. I think, Jez could start the game, no problem. I'd like to have the two hookers. Otherwise, that hooker half on the bench. At the moment, we're going with those two hookers. Mickey's a starting hooker. That's his strength. As I said, Jez could do both. If Jez started or he comes off the bench, just highlights what I said before. He is a complete hooker. It's just that consistency that we're looking for, and I'm sure Sean Wayne's looking for that as well. There's a lot of good hookers in the competition, but there's no doubt Jez, if he keeps playing the way he is, Sean will take more notice of him, down the track.
3 wins on the board so far, and it's fair to say maybe that your spine had to have a little bit of alteration. How happy are you that your team is really coping with this early injury adversity, if you like?
Yeah, look, it's all part of the game when you have injuries. It's an unfortunate part, as I said before. But look, we've got a squad that we are a squad. We've said that many times. There's a majority of the players that will get an opportunity at some stage this year. So, I was really pleased to be able to put 42 points on Salford last week with an inexperienced spine. We've moved, obviously, Pet there the last 2 weeks. He's done a good job. So we had to change the way we attacked. And, I thought, as I said, Jez did a lot of that from 9. I thought Richo had Danny had a simplified sort of role, but he executed that extremely well. And I thought Elliot Minchella was outstanding of owning our attack and as I said, the other guys playing off the back of that. So, what I was most pleased about was when Elliot come off, and then we got our tries around the ruck area and off the 9. So we showed that we can score tries out wide by moving it, getting our halves touching the ball, and we also showed that we can play through teams as well. So that's important. But I'd like to think that, we can adapt because we've got players, as I said, that have trained with us all pre-season and, they've certainly had their opportunities at training to prove themselves, and it was good that, some guys took their opportunity on the weekend.
With regards to times you've had as a coach before, is this the best depth that you've ever had at your disposal?
Look, you have, I think, in terms of our depth from this year, from last year, sorry, I think, we've certainly brought in some more experience, but it's rugby league, so I'm not going to go into too much around it because you can go into your depth, like we're talking around front rowers. Some of our props weren't getting a game, who could easily get a game at other clubs. And that's why I was talking around, players possibly going on loan, but then you have an injury for the year with Rhyse, and then you've got to start having moving parts, and you go, well, hang on, maybe we don't have much depth in the back row now, or that depth that we had in the front row's not there anymore. So, yeah, it's I'm happy with the squad, put it that way.
Yeah, we've talked about Danny already, but is this his moment, if you like? I know you've got Mikey and Tyrone who can come back in the house, but how much can he show that he might be given that responsibility and relish that responsibility moving forward if you have another injury or another knock or two?
Yeah, look, we've had a whole pre-season and the way we train, I look at training like games. So I'll look at how halves and our spine handle training. We do a lot of scenario-based training and how they handle different situations. So there's things there that, they've spoken to Danny around that I want to see him do, will improve. But I saw that improvement last weekend on Friday. So the key now, again, is that consistency and making sure that Richo is consistent with it. But whatever the players do at training usually replicates what they're going to do in a game. So, it's important they get that right at training and then it will transfer into the game.
How did you enjoy the weekend with Las Vegas in terms of how, I guess it's been a very good success from the neutral. How do you view it as a coach? Yeah,
look, it's something that I'm sure all clubs and coaches want to be part of. There's no doubt about that. I think, just reading the media and listening to some different podcasts and things like that, what I was happy about was the NRL. They a lot of people probably didn't understand the atmosphere and what our crowds are like over here and how fanatical they are and the atmosphere that they bring, and basically saying that the Super League need to be part of it. So, mate, we've certainly taken many steps forward. And obviously Wigan and Warrington had the opportunity to play, and Wigan were outstanding. Just showcase that in terms of our product is a good one. We've always said that. It's a very good product. And it's something, all clubs will want to be part of. And I know we'll go from reading certain media outlets that the NRL want us part of it again, which would be awesome. So the fans are totally different. And Peter V'landys was saying that he's going to go back and try and get them singing and like the crowds over here. It's a unique atmosphere. It's a unique, experience coming to a game. Craven Park, like when I have family come here, they just can't believe it, and friends. You go to all grounds. We'll be going to St Helens on Friday and it'll be the same. So, we probably, some people over here probably take it for granted, but the atmosphere that the English crowds create is awesome. So, look, something that we want to be part of, and we'll see how we go.
How would a Hull derby sound being played out in Vegas to you?
Yeah, as long as we get an opportunity, I'd be grateful. I'm sure other clubs would as well. That'll be with people higher than myself who decide that, but we'd certainly support it. I said last week though, like it's one of those things that it's not all, it's not an easy process. It'd be a lot of planning involved, and how you approach it, how you handle the week, and how you handle post Vegas as well. Like I think some teams might suffer post Vegas because of just everything that goes with it. So it's not just there's got negatives to it as well, but certainly from a coach's point of view, I'd want to be part of it, but mainly to showcase the game and the Super League and get the Super League further on the map and to a wider audience. It's a must.
The Hull Kingston Rovers, in your view, more at the front of the queue if it does happen again, given your stature as a side at the moment, obviously getting to the grand final last year? Do you think that holds you in good stead if it does materialise?
Oh, look, I hope so. Again, I'll leave that to other people to decide. I'm not one to get carried away, that's for sure, because we've made a grand final and Challenge Cup and all that sort of stuff. But you'd like to think that what we're doing off the field, as well as on the field, will put us in good stead to be in the mix. But Paul Aiken, our CEOs, obviously would be driving that along with our board. I'm sure our board are supportive of, if it did happen, they'd need to see certain numbers and make sure that all stacks up. But that, as I said, that's above me. So, we've got a good case to put forward of why we should be there, and then people will make the decision above.
On St Helens then, how do you stop Jack Wellsby in particular? Because he's got, I think, the most carries, most assists. He's come out the block storming as he always does. I know they've got threats all over the place, but Wellsby in particular. Yeah,
I think it's limiting what he does. To say you're going to stop someone, it's like when you play against Bevan French or you play against Jai Field and individuals, Matt Duffy. To say you're going to stop them is, be great to stop them, but it's probably limiting what they do, because when they ask so many questions, at some stage you can get hurt, but it's limiting what they do to you. But we always go back to, and I say it over and over, but go back to what we can control. And we've got our systems, we've got our principles in place defensively of how we handle certain things. And if we uphold that, then we'll be okay. And we will limit what he does, but certainly got respect for what he's doing. He's a world-class player. There's no doubt about that.
And it's always good to see players coming through academies, whichever club they're at, and Robertson particularly out wide as 5 tries, top scorer. Okay, he had some part to play last season, but not as greatly as what it turns out to be this season. How do you rate him as a winger? Do you see him as a Super League star of the future?
Oh, absolutely. He's gone to the centres and, from fullback, and he's been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. So, you said before they've got threats all across the park, and he's certainly one of them. So we're not going to just worry about Jack Wellsby. And, again, that's where I'll go back to our system and the way we defend. It's a system that, worries about 13 players, not just one. But certainly, I think he's going to be a very, very good Super League player. I've just seen the development in the space of like 3 months or 4 months or whatever it was from last year. So I imagine him in 2 years' time, he's scratching the surface. So it's exciting for the Super League. We've got a lot of young talent coming through, and clubs like St Helens and Wigan and clubs like that just keep bringing them through, and it's important. We're striving to want to be like that. We've got some work to do, but it's where we want to be.
And just finally, the appetite, obviously, for rugby league at the start of the season is always huge amongst the faithful, because they obviously want to be back in the ground as quickly as possible. If you had a full away end, for example, at St Helens, how beneficial could that be to having what would be 4 in 4 and possibly sitting top of the tree in the early stages? Yeah, it'd be awesome. If we can get 1,000 plus, come over on Friday and support the boys, it would mean a lot. I'm sure that the players will repay that by putting in a strong performance. We always say we want to make our fans proud every week, and the ones that come over, we'll be doing our best to make sure that they go away happy, and it's not a long drive home. So, the aim is to put in a really strong performance and give ourselves every chance. I'll ask one more just finally, because it's just come to mind with it being a Shrove Tuesday. Have you let the players tuck in some pancakes today as a treat for going 3 and 3? I'm actually going to go to lunch after this, so it depends what the chef's made. He might have a couple of pancakes, so see how we go. All the best, Willie. Thank you very much, mate. Cheers, mate.
Hey, Willie.
Hey, Joe.
Josh, are you going?
It's all right, you go first, mate.
Just a couple of quick ones from me, Willie. Will you have a better idea of where you're at after this game against a side like St Helens, who started really well? And I guess it's the same for them as well, because they've got the same opponents as you, haven't they?
Yeah, look, I think you want to win the game. There's no doubt about that. We want to win every game. But I think putting in a strong performance is a key to say, where we're at. It's sometimes you can lose a game, but your performance is, all the areas that you want to be strong in, you were strong at. And I think that's what we need to. So defensively is probably the area that I want to see again keep improving. We kept Salford to 0 last week. which is not easy to do against a team like Salford. So I want to see us just keep improving our defence. Our attack will come. Our halves haven't played together. We're still not sure what that looks like for Friday night. So, whatever we go with, the attack won't be where it needs to be. But certainly defensively, that's the area that we want to get right. But yeah, I always say, round 10 gives you a really good indication. But certainly in terms of the intensity, and this will be a step up. St Helens like to play fast. We like to play fast. We've got a physical pack Saturday, so I think it's going to be a great game.
Obviously, Saints have scored a lot of points so far. Have you noticed differences in the way they are attacking with Libriers in there now? Yeah,
they're certainly throwing a lot of shape. They've got runners though. That's their strength. They've got Sailor and Lomax and Wolsby, mainly their runners first. And their ball play second, which is what you want. So they're scoring tries through a run. Show and go from halves, but they're also creating opportunities with with a pass as well. Wellesby's got that long ball, the 3v2 that they've been great at for how many years now. So we know what's coming, but again, just trying to limit that through our systems and the way we defend. But they're certainly. I think they're obviously for the first game didn't help, but in terms of all the stats, they're leading all the stats.
In terms of the forward battle as well, I'm sure the neutrals are looking forward to that. Would you back your lads against any pack in the comp? Yeah,
of course I would. It's they need to turn up and do it. There's no doubt about that. So it's not just a matter of me saying that I back our pack against anyone. I really would, but we've got to go do it. I think it's going to be a good. Whoever wins that forward battle on Friday will win the game. That's what I believe. So there's going to be two good strong packs going at it. I'm really interested to see how our boys step up, but I certainly back them against any pack in the competition. But they need to action it. They need to do it.
Yep. Well, stuff. That's all from me. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Cheers, mate.
Tap.
Hi, Willie. Just a couple more. Hope you're well.
Yeah, good, Josh. You?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Sorry if I missed this. How's Niall Edwards doing?
Yeah, so he's obviously going to have the week off. He's okay, mate. He's been at training and he's in good spirits. So, possibly we'll have to go to a specialist, which we hope you get ticked off to be able to play the week after.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So that as a potential, we saw Broadbent go at the full-back, another potential shuffle there, a back row potentially going to the centres, and someone at back, a potential shuffle there for Saints.
Sorry, mate, you sort of cut out a little bit.
Sorry, just on about it, might shuffle up the team for St Helens with potential Broadbent going back to full-back and a back row in the centres.
There'll be, depends on what we go with, but there's no doubt there will be some shuffling around. We'll as I said, we'll know more back end of the week. Yeah,
and just finally, just on those back row options, obviously nobody wants injuries in the games, but injuries provide pathways for other players. Is Whitbread and Tanganoa, would they be the front rowers the front runners? To replace Rhyse Martin in the back row and start every week.
Whitbread?
Yeah.
No, you'd probably give me something to think about. I look at Jai's more. He's been a prop, so at this stage I wouldn't be looking at him as a back rower. There'll be other players we possibly look at. At the moment we're okay for back rowers, but as I said before, it just takes another. It's a long season, and then you start to go into to areas where you probably need to move people around.
And Sam Luckley, obviously thrown in as 18th man, put his best foot forward. I thought, did you rate how he performed last week?
Yeah, I was really happy. I said to the players on Monday, what I was most pleased about is that Sam came in after warm up and when the players just before they were going to go out, and he was the most vocal. He was the loudest, and he wasn't playing at that time. He was 18th man, probably going, "No, I'm not going to play." And I just thought that's the players pride themselves in being a great teammate, and that was a perfect example for me of what a great teammate looks like. And then it's funny how the world works, and sure enough, unfortunately, through other circumstances, but he got his opportunity. And Sam's never let anyone down when he's played. He just come back from an injury, and obviously, we'd won a couple on the bounce, so it was difficult for him to get back in. But he grabbed his opportunity. Sam's, going to be better in weeks ahead. Obviously, he hasn't played, but I just thought that was a good example of his character and being a great teammate.
Good to hear. Thanks, Willie. Best of luck this week.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Hi, Willie. Hope you're well.
Hey, Ben. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. Just really one from me, sticking on with Niall Evans. Just sort of how impressed have you been with him so far this season, really? I think he's someone that's off contract, isn't he? So he's obviously trying to earn himself a new deal with yourselves.
Yeah, look, mate, he's been good for us since he's arrived. There's no doubt, when Niall plays, he adds another dimension to our attack. He's got pace. I'm liking defensively what he's doing. A lot of we call it line org, where he's organising the line at the back there and getting our numbers sorted, and he does a really good job at that. So, Niall's he's been around the game a long time now, so he's we're going to miss him this week, but certainly when he plays, he's always putting his best foot forward, and the contracts and all that sort of stuff get sorted out. We've had conversations with Niall, so we know there's nothing to announce at the moment, but in terms of where we're at with that.
I know obviously it's still early March, but how do those contract talks look from your point of view? Not just with Niall, but the rest of the guys that are sort of off contracting. They can talk to clubs earlier now as well, can't they?
Yeah, well, that's right. Most, all players now, if you haven't signed them, who are off contract, can talk to other clubs. So, excuse me. So, we always have conversations with players around where they're at and where they need to be. And so the ones that haven't signed at the moment are probably looking, we're still looking at them, still decisions getting made. But recruitment's ongoing. It never stops. So we're fully aware. Obviously, players can go to other clubs now. But as I say, there's conversations in the background happening regularly.
Cheers, Willie. Thank you for your time.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Ben.